Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Episode number 38 of Extend the Drive Best Ball Live. I am your host, Sean Mitchell. Have another guest on today. He is a return guest, but it was last season when I had him on. He's a really sharp dude. Is on his own show now. Well, I guess he's a part of a show, but I'll let him tell you more, a little bit more about that. But hey, he is a best ball contest shipper. If you're in the Twitter streets, you probably know him. He's very he likes his takes, likes his opinions as well, just like I do as well. But let's welcome on Mr. Jim Waller. Hey Jim.
Hey Sean, how's it going, man?
It's good, man. How are you? How's the day treating you?
Doing pretty well. Going through the spray of training camp news like everybody else. Injuries obviously across the board are just a bummer, but I do love seeing highlights of random players we've been drafting, making cool catches in spring training or in training camp. It's football's almost back. I do think it's funny because a lot of people, as we got closer to training camp, were like, just give me football. Like I need it back right now. And I just always remind myself that there is so much hope in May and June and July that gets absolutely slammed into the ground. Like the second people put the pads on and we get injury updates and we find out which guys that we drafted were duds. And so there's a lot more heartbreak to come, but it's fun to have football back.
Yeah, I know. It's like, you draft for months and months and months, but you're like us, you're sickos. You've been drafting since January. You've gotten 300 or 400 teams already and you're like, okay, man. And you've got your stands. And then, first week of camp, Ricky Pearsall, Chris Brazel. I mean, the injuries are already starting to pile up. This is what you get when you play this game. That's why you get 18, 20 roster spots. And, that's just something you got to deal with. I know beforehand we were talking before we went live here, how most of even the BBM winners and even the contests that you won, you mentioned, like, you're going to have a couple zeros. Like, you're going to have duds on some of your teams. You just got to hope that everybody else pulls their own way. So, that's part of it. I know it's very painful in the early goings whenever you're seeing those guys go down and you're like, okay, well, you got to check your percentages and you're like, oh man, I was higher on so-and-so than I thought I was. But that's part of the game. That's part of this lovely game we play. But nonetheless, so how's the best ball streets been going for you? Again, I do want you to tell the people about the new show that you have gotten on. I know the last time you were on last year, you had mentioned to me that you kind of wanted to start doing some shows, kind of start getting in front of the cam and on the mic. So how's it going? And then why don't you fill us in?
Yeah. So drafts have been good. I'm sure we'll get pretty into the weeds as we talk through it. Obviously, the rooms are pretty wild right now.
Crazier,
I think last night after that first big wave of training camp news, I did a couple of the chow chows last night at and I streamed a couple.
Really?
And the rooms were wild. So I think that if we're getting kind of bored of the way the ADPs were looking and everything felt standard to you. That is no longer the case. So it's a good time for people to be jumping into the fray again. If you kind of got a little sick of what July and June looked like, August is certainly going to be very different.
Oh yeah.
On the streaming front, yeah. So I participated in Pete Overzet's So You Think You Can Tout earlier this summer. That was super fun. I didn't make it very far, but I did make it into the part where I got to do a challenge and chat with Pete a little bit, and that was goofy. I just honestly just saw it and thought it was a really fun idea, so I randomly sent in an application video, and then from that, I've been a long time fan of Neil Warfield's channel, and I on his Discord and chat with some folks in there, and I said the same thing to him that I've said to you because I've been on his show a couple times, which is that I'd like to stream, but it's one of those things going from 0 to 1 is so difficult. Do you want to come out here and talk to one person or two people the first couple of times? And it's not the worst thing in the world because a lot of us would be drafting anyway. And so if I'm just going to sit here and talk to myself while I draft, that's what it is. But Neil reached out and was just like, hey, if you want to do some streams on my channel, you're more than welcome to do something weekly, and then maybe we can collaborate on some stuff. So I'm wearing the Flannelverse hat, repping the brand. But so I've just been going on once a week on Neil's YouTube and doing some drafts, which it's been really fun. I did, the folks in his Discord usually jump on. And then he was just like, at a bare minimum, he's got a fair number of followers, nothing crazy on YouTube, but it's enough that people see it pop up in their algorithm and occasionally more folks come in. So it's worked for me. I personally don't have the bandwidth to build a YouTube channel from scratch right now. Like I work and other life responsibilities, but it's allowed me to stream, which is something that I always thought would be fun. And mostly I just want to talk about best ball. Like at the end of the day,
ball, right?
We're not here to make a living. We're just here because we love the game. So
exactly. And that's, man, to that point is kind of why I slowed down. Last year I decided that I was going to go hot and heavy. I was going to become the next streamer and try to do all that stuff. And, I've got 3 kids and they're all getting to the age now where they're all into sports. They're all doing something. So just trying to lock down times, with work and with kids and, with trying to do your other own things. And, that's why this year I said, you know what, I'm going to stream when I want. I'm going to have guests on for the most of the time because I don't really want to do them myself. Like you said, like I don't want to sit here and listen to myself talk for an hour while I'm doing a draft. Like I would much rather have the dialogue and it's kind of like what we say every time I draft with somebody new. It's like you start giving me picks that I typically wouldn't go with. So I'm diversifying as I play too while I'm doing the stream. So yeah, it's a fun thing to do. Like you said, I don't have the time to just build out a whole new channel. I don't want to. I just want to do this to have fun. If people want to join in and watch and hopefully draft with us, that's even better. Like you said, with Neil having kind of the community already, you kind of get those people that are already going to jump in. So that's awesome. That's great to be a part of, and you get to enjoy it while you're streaming and while you're drafting. But
it's been fun.
Good to see you, man. Appreciate you, man.
It's wild because on Twitter, you see a lot of the same takes maybe, or you see people hyping a certain player, but it always shocks me when you get towards August and people start just like throwing the full exposures out there, and they're like, hey, like. And we all do it, and people mock it, but it's also like I think it's kind of fun to see where everybody stands, and it always shocks me who everyone has like maybe 20% stands on, because you would never guess some of the players if you don't talk to somebody a lot, and then you realize even with some of the content that I consume, right? I watch a lot of the ship chasing, ADP chasing guys or whatever, and then all of a sudden one of them will be like, oh yeah, by the way, I've got 25% RJ Harvey, and it's like, oh, I listened to you talk, weekly, and I knew you kind of liked him, but I had no idea we were that far in. And so it's always funny when you see, because if you just sit in a room and draft by yourself, certain picks start looking really good. You're like, why is nobody else clicking this guy? I think he's a smash every time. And then you'll talk to somebody else and they'll be like, dude, why did you take Jordan Mason 25%? What is wrong with you? He's going to score 8 points a game, So it's fun to have the community, to have to get different perspectives, because at the end of the day, we're all wrong a lot more than we're right. And so wisdom of the crowds, and kind of play it out and see what's there. But I enjoy having these conversations. I know we agree on. I've seen some of your takes. I know we agree on Bill Krosky-Merritt as being a fun click on the board. I like Rashad White too. I think he's a perfectly fine pick at ADP, but I've been doing a lot more Bill recently. And he's quickly becoming one of, if not my highest drafted running. Where are we at? We're at.
I was going to say,
he's number 2 for me right now.
Really nice.
And to be fair, Rashad White is also in the top 10 because I'm just kind of playing both ends of that Washington backfield. But I even take a little bit of Katron, but I think Bill is the best one. Everything they've talked about is really, a lot of that has been we want Bill to improve at X and Y and Z because we know he can do some of these things explosively. Yeah. We trust that. I don't think they let, if he doesn't do those things, then Rashad White probably is an even better pick than he is.
And maybe when Rashad got steamed up like that, it was
I flipped then. Exactly.
Yeah. And that's to that point, what you mentioned about the staff, saying that they want to get JCM to be basically the 3-down back, that he can catch passes, do the pass blocking. That's been said multiple times. It's not like it was just one, quote or something that was said one time. It has consistently been what they've said where they want him to be. Yeah. And that's one of the biggest reasons why I continue, which I've liked him all the way through last season. So just continue to click.
And I follow a lot of the Coach Speak Index stuff, and I feel like that's the take where he and I are probably most at odds. I know he's not the biggest Bill fan, and I like Rachaad White fine. I take a lot of Rachaad White.
I have White too. People think that I'm just like totally against taking like I was taking White when he was going in the 130s, 140s because I thought that was an excellent click right there.
And even in the I think if Jaden Daniels is healthy, that running back room is going to score points. So
absolutely.
And they're also the cheapest running back room, or them or Minnesota, are the cheapest running back room in the league. So, and I don't think they're anywhere close to the worst offense, and their pass catchers right now are leaving a lot to be desired. So I'm fine with taking any of them, but I agree with you on Bill. I'm hoping he has another big year. I wish he was as cheap as he was last year, but he's he's cheaper than he was at the end of last year.
Yeah,
it's even crazier to me.
He was up in like the late 80s,
right
before when August hit last year. I mean, he was getting steamed up like crazy,
and he had a fine year. There was a little more Chris Rodriguez than I would have liked.
I think they put the cart before the horse with him
a little bit.
They didn't. They didn't they just rushed him too quickly into the job. So I think that was one of the biggest things that kind of hurt. One of the biggest hurdles for him. But yeah, like I said, now year 2, I feel like he's put on 7 to 8 pounds. He looks good, and again, they're wanting him to become that 3-down back. So all that tells me is they have the full trust in him, kind of like you already mentioned. Like it just seems like this could be the wheels up for him. Like I said, 800 yards and 8 touchdowns as a rookie, and he wasn't even the running back, lead back, wasn't even the guy really for most of the year on a broken offense. The offense the year before was top 5, top 3 with Jaden Daniels his rookie year. They went to the playoffs. He, won some really big games, and they were just shooting out left and right. So, yeah, that offense could be really good. And like you said, they do definitely have left something desired in that receiving room, and makes you still kind of wonder who they're going to sign. They're probably going to sign somebody. So,
I don't understand why Stephon Diggs isn't there yet, unless it's some of the legal ambiguity that they're just not sure they want to wade their, maybe that's why Diggs isn't signed anywhere, because he's clearly the most accomplished, or not accomplished necessarily, because Keenan Allen's out there, but he had the best year last year of the guys that are out there
forever. Yeah. Obviously, he didn't play. Well, I don't know what his snap percentages was last year. I know it wasn't over like 50%, but still, he's a guy that can go out there and give you what you need,
I think him and Keenan can help there. I think, Debo, I mean, maybe they just really wanted to upgrade from Debo, but
kick the tires on that, being as he was in the offense last year. But I mean, at the same point, it's not the same OC, so maybe they just don't think that his skill set meshes.
Yeah, maybe
with the new offense.
It's some real normie shit. But I was watching quarterback yesterday out of boredom, and Debo was running around out there doing stuff with Jaden Daniels, and I was like, he's just sitting around for free right now, Even if you don't think he's that good anymore, it certainly helps to not be reliant on Traylon Burks or whoever they have.
He's already hurt. Did you see that? He's already hurt.
I didn't see that. No, that's
he went down yesterday, and that was already the talk of the Washington camp. Was Traylon Burks already hurt again.
I'm wondering, one of those guys probably ends up in San Francisco too now, maybe, unless they really want it to be.
I think Keenan Allen would be interesting in San Francisco. Not that I would love it.
He would be such a smash there.
It would be such a nice spot.
It makes sense, right? They're trying to compete right now. If you're San Francisco, if Pearsall really is done, you've got, and you already have Kittle.
They have to do something.
Yeah, Kittle's coming off an injury. McCaffrey, you don't want to completely run him into the ground. Mike Evans is injury prone. Christian Kirk is injury prone. You've got to bring somebody else in there.
Absolutely. It's inevitable. They've got to make some moves. There's got to be something. They're going to have to do something. I mean,
because they could be really good this year if they find another piece that.
Yeah, but like you said, they're not going to be able to put another 425 touches on CMC. I mean, can they? They can, but I mean, is he going to hold up? I don't know. I mean, he did last year.
He's a freak. I mean, I'm probably. I'm a little under even, but I do.
Yeah, I was going to say I'm not at field probably, but I'm taking him.
I take him for sure. I think you'd be silly
not drafting him.
But yeah, I don't know. It remains to be seen. I think we'll see how the board. I haven't drafted. I did draft this morning, but I haven't drafted since some of the stuff today has happened. So I don't know how much. I guess the other big news from yesterday that's been most impactful on boards has just been the meteoric Malik Neighbors rise. Where we went from being 3-4 turn, here we are to I last night tried to push him around the turn with Bijan in the 102. And he did not get past the Gibbs drafter. And the second time I did another draft from the 103, and I was like, I'm not pushing him this time. I want him on this team. I'm taking him right now. Like he is going to go with
I figured he would move back up into the 18, 19s range pretty quickly.
Yeah, he's back there. He's going to probably, I think you can get him at 24, like at 24, 25, like right now. But I would say if the news keeps being positive, the days of getting him in round 3 are gone. Like
he's out there running, cutting. I mean, doing, I think he's more ahead than it was definitely portrayed. It's kind of bad that us as a collective community and the whole best ball industry was like not taking it, which there are those that were still hammering him, and kudos to those guys. Cause I was scared. Like, I mean, I will say it, scared money don't make money, but I mean, I was just worried that everything looked like he was going to definitely hit the pup. Like, I mean, that was all that was all the talk, and all the reporters, all the beats were saying that. And it's like, how can we all have been this wrong? Like,
and they were pretty collectively, even the Giants were saying, like, we think Cam Scatabo is on track to be back for camp. We think he's going to be good to go. Neighbors is behind Scatabo. Like they said, like they gave the order of how they felt about the injuries for both of those guys.
Exactly.
And obviously, like, Scatabo is probably healthier than Neighbors right now. Like, he's running routes, but like, would he play tomorrow if week 1 was tomorrow? I think Scatabo would be on the field. I don't know if Neighbors would be. Probably not.
It's good. Yeah.
But
I agree. I think
I'm glad that I grabbed some shares in round 4. I was full fade when he was originally in round 2, and then like not really taking him in round 3. And then I've been as he fell.
As he fell, I was mixing him in.
I mixed him in,
so targeting either. So it was like.
So I feel a little better about it. I obviously wish I had more in that 3-4 range though.
Yeah.
With the way this is played out.
Yeah. Ray Zanny's in the chat. Fast Puppy winner from 2 years ago. Good to see you, Ray. Glad you finally got to get in the stream. We are going to be doing a BBM here in just a moment. What are they giving these guys, Mahomes, Scat, Judd? Stem cells, man. They're giving them the peptide stem cells. They're throwing the whole kitchen sink of the new technology with all that medical stuff, man. It's crazy how quickly they are being able to turn these guys like Sharps. That's another one. Now they're saying like, oh, there's a chance he could be ready for week 1.
Sharps, when they said like
what
that it wouldn't be crazy. Obviously it's not looking like week 1, but they were like, it wouldn't be crazy if he was available week 1. I'm like, what do you mean week 1? Like, I'm thinking best.
No way.
I even kind of like the click, right? Like if you can get him at like 170 and you treat him like a rookie who is going to help you at the end of the year,
right?
Especially if like they limit his touches, but all of his touches are like around the goal line. Like he could be an interesting piece. So I've built some teams with him in mind where it's like, I don't need early production. He's just he's a tack one. And I think that's fine. I also really like
big in Jadarian Price. I was going to say,
yeah, I like him. I took a ton of him pre-draft, like, because I bet on him being drafted high, and he was going at like pick 100. So I had like 40% of him in the.
He was one of my higher exposures pre-draft.
So I have less than that, but I'm certainly above the field post-draft too. And I think like, I mean, if he's super talented, even if it's the Sharps Kenneth Walker split again, then I think that, Price, especially with, we don't know what Sharps is going to look like that's all encouraging. But I never expected to see, we might get week 4 Zach Charbonnet or something like that. Like that would be wild.
I'm still thinking it's like week 7, 8 before he's
I agree with you. But
I think the preface that we had of like him not being back to like week 10 or 11, which realistically that was kind of the time frame from when he had the surgery.
That's what they said. Yeah, I'm not a medical expert. I just follow. Like, there are people who pay way more attention to injury timelines than me who do that research for me, and everybody was like, based on this date of this surgery with this type, this is what you're looking at as a reasonable time frame.
Yeah,
I mean, maybe guys are beating it, but that makes honestly, it makes the Pearsall thing even crazier. And I know that's been discussed on Twitter a little bit today, where it's that these PCL injuries, whether it be, I know, like Brock Bowers, I know had one, and that kind of derailed some stuff he was doing. And that like the injuries and what they mean for players has changed so dramatically, where an ACL used to be, you need a full other year. Now that's like 7 months. And Achilles used to be potentially career redefining, and now the guys are coming back in less than a year. And then now the PCL is still murky, I guess, just based on how that impacts your knee. Again, I don't know.
Exactly.
It's pretty crazy.
PCL's been the more longer lingering injury than all of them.
Right.
I mean, that's the one that's been the most hurtful to the players. It feels like Drake London last year had it, and even though he played through it, like he just was not nearly the Drake London that we need, while he was dealing with it. But let's go ahead. I'm going to count this down and get in this BBM. So if you are in the chat and you want to join us, I'm going to count it down from 5, 4. We are doing the 22nd round. 3, 2, 1.
I kind of missed the 30-second.
I do for the streams, but as a guy who only does fast drafts, I love the 20-second.
I only do fast drafts too.
I can't do slows; they're just not for me. But yeah, I see Ray's in here. Willie knows ball, even though he has me blocked on Twitter because he knows ball too much.
Man, Willie dropped, it's best ball season when Willie drops a diss track about some. I sent a note to Neil or somebody where I was like, what am I even doing streaming if I'm not trying to inspire a Willie knows ball diss track? Like, I'm clearly not, I'm doing the wrong things if I haven't inspired one of those by the end of draft season. He's hilarious, man. I think I don't know.
He's off and on blocked me a few times. He used to always want to comment on all my posts and just really, I guess, trying to dunk for the most part.
Everybody takes stuff so seriously. I think everybody's hilarious.
I just made fun of one post he made and he just blocked me and I hadn't been unblocked since. I'm like, all right, man. I mean, if you've got that, if you don't have thick enough skin to be putting your takes out there and get a little criticism and not be able to just get, insanely mad about it, then why are you even doing it? Why are you posting on social media about it?
I'm probably in the minority. I think everybody is pretty entertaining in this space. I think Liam is absolutely hilarious.
He has me blocked.
His ability to tweet some completely mindless thing that he definitely doesn't 100% believe and send the entire community into a tailspin I was like, man, he's out there playing chess and the rest of us are just it's just funny. I don't know. I don't take any of this seriously. So but I do think people get their feelings hurt way too easily. We're playing a game where we click buttons.
It's a game. Yeah, it is a game much. At the end of the day.
Yep.
If the monetary value is one thing, you lose and you're mad that you lost money, that's one thing. But if you're getting mad by people commenting on your post saying, from somebody who's literally had a gazillion people comment some of the worst things on my post, that's part of it that comes to the territory. If you put out stuff on. Everybody is a know-it-all in fantasy football. That's just all there is to it. Who do you like here, Jim? Got a Lamb and then a slew of running backs.
Do you have I'm cool with any of them, honestly. Genty's probably my highest exposure guy here, but I'm cool with Lamb and Jonathan Taylor as well if you want to get shares of those guys.
I kind of like one Lamb.
Lamb's cool. Nothing wrong with Lamb.
Because I'm taking a lot more Pickens than I've taken Lamb simply because he was going a lot earlier. And now that he's kind of relegated back to where he was going a little earlier in the season, I think I've started taking just a little bit more Lamb. But, and again, the meta of the running back, early running back, got to have 2 running backs before round 4, whatever. Kind of tried to go against that grain a little bit more lately. I don't know about you.
I'm right there with you. I it's not that I'm not taking running backs I am.
I'm not totally fading.
But I am trying to more wide receiver aggressive builds. I kind of just feel like that's what's going to win. With everybody defaulting to not taking if you hit the right combo of running backs, that's the same thesis that has always existed, which is that if you have the firepower elsewhere and you get your running backs.
Yeah, and I'm typically a more fragile running back drafter. I don't like drafting 7, 8 running backs. I hardly ever do. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I'm okay. Who you like here?
This is James Cook all day for me.
I was hoping you said James Cook because I was I've got James
that's an
Cook.
Awesome fall. I don't understand that at all, but
but we will definitely take it. And
boredom.
Boredom, right? And so CJ had asked, still liking the back end of drafts. I've been getting a lot of middle picks lately, and it's funny because he mentioned that because before that I was getting back into the draft all the time. And it's always okay, what 2 running backs am I going to pick here? Because it's that's where you get the big running back run there. Kenneth Walker, Genty, Hampton, Cook. But in some of the like time box contests, I would just start pulling up like Rashee Rice. I'd start pulling up some of those receivers just because I wanted to get different. I know it's not exactly flipping the board, but I just wanted to be a little different. And now that Rashee Rice, now that he's back up, it's like, okay, well, I kind of figured he was going to do this. If everything went particularly good with the rehab, the jail stint, whatever, now he's cleared. Now he's moving back up. I mean, so I don't know. I like the back end of drafts, but I've kind of stopped liking it as much because I feel like, I love being able to get 2 stud running backs, but once you do it a handful of number of times, you're like, all right, same thing over again here. You kind of, if you're like, I kind of like to take stands on guys. I'm probably a little bit lesser on like Achane and Barkley and Chase Brown, even for that fact. I've got a lot of Taylor, I've got a lot of Genty and Walker. But yeah, there's some of those guys there that I'm just going to be light on.
I'm very high on. I'm a Derrick Henry bull for sure in that range. I think he had a down year last year where like the Ravens offense wasn't as functional as we would want it to be. And he still scored over 300 points, half PPR. Like
exactly.
He could obviously fall off a cliff, but the Ravens are not prepared for him to fall off a cliff. Like they have they have Justice Hill who's going to do his third down back thing, but he will get every goal line carry on one of the best offenses. Like I would love to get Zay here, I think.
I'm definitely with you. I think Zay's going to have another big year, take another big step. And kind of like you're talking about with that offense, like I feel like that offense is going to be much better. I like Declan Doyle. I like what he brings to the table. He's already said that he wants to get Zay Flowers the ball as much as possible, which is obviously I'm heavy on Zay. So it sounds like you are as well.
And we're actually, it's funny. We have a couple of. I also am very much a Rashee Rice bull as well. I have a bunch of Rashee, so I'm with you on that. I know you
were last year too. Yeah.
I was, and last year didn't work out.
I wasn't.
But the last year,
but it wasn't the event that he was bad. It was just
it was not. And also when I started drafting him, like when drafts opened last year, the first like couple of weeks or whatever, he was my biggest priority at BBM. I was like, he is going to rise. And he did rise from round 3 into round 2. I was like, okay, I read that right. And then he got suspended, which no one saw coming, and it all fell apart. But I think my initial thesis was correct. And then obviously he came back and was awesome. I mean, of course he blew out his knee, but you can't,
Yeah, I mean, wide receiver 5 in fantasy points per game and had point PPR, awesome. And he only played 8 games. I mean, that tells you everything you need to know about. And of course, that's the crazy part about this year too. And we're about to be back on the clock, so we can make this pick, and then we'll continue with that discussion. I think you're a Waddle guy. I don't know. But
I like Waddle. Okay, I'm also cool with Jacobs here or ETN. I'd be fine with either. Jacobs is probably worth pulling though. I do wonder the round 5 running back run has kind of been happening sooner.
Yeah.
So oftentimes there's not a guy waiting for you on the way back.
Exactly.
So whereas earlier in the summer, I was taking a lot of like receiver round 3, round 4, and then getting like Tootin or Judkins or whoever came back to me in round 5.
I got a lot of
that's happening less and less. And so at the 1-9 where we're at, I'd rather, because I don't even mind if we take a third running back in round 5, that's fine. But I don't want to end up in a situation where we really don't like.
I am a little bit more worried about the ETN now that Alvin Kamara is definitely going to be a part of that offense. I feel like that just really caps his ceiling a lot, because I think why would you Alvin Kamara is so good out of the backfield catching the football. Like, why would you even want ETN to catch more than a couple passes a game too, and give him any of those looks? It just feels like that's going to really suppress his upside. I mean, his ceiling is lowered because of that. So that's big. I've kind of stopped taking as much ETN, where I was taking quite a bit early, but we should have known that AK was probably going to stay.
Yeah, I figured he was going to stay. It does depend. Like, I think in their dream scenario, they honestly would have just cut him, but they have so much money.
It was a lot of money.
They can't, like, I mean, all he did was take a salary cut. Like, they clearly were talking to him about, like, we don't want to pay you all of this, whatever.
Exactly.
I don't know. He was pretty inefficient last year.
He'll
be out there.
Yeah.
He'll be out there. It depends on how many snaps he gets. Obviously, I don't love Travis Etienne like anymore. I'm below field anyway and was before, but I think round 4 is a more like a more palatable price than round 3 was for who he is. So I don't.
Yeah, and I love the offense. I mean, I love the Saints.
Yeah.
I have a lot of Saints, so that's probably why I was more into it than anything. It's been more than just like him, the player. I mean, Lamar fell to us here.
You want to take Lamar?
I mean, we have Zay.
I don't take enough Lamar. I just want to take Lamar.
And it's just, I mean, he falls to us right there.
I want to take Lamar. I don't care.
I mean, why not? You know, if we're betting on the offense to be as good as we both already mentioned, you know, why would we not just tack on Lamar there?
He's hard to get to just because I do think there's a teardrop between round 5 and round 6 in terms of like the quality of player. And so when you get like the 2v2 and it's like, I can get Jaden Daniels in round 6
this whole range of quarterbacks here is always
I really like those guys. So it makes me push taking Lamar, but I want more Lamar. Like I just do. Like I think he's, you know,
I'm lighter too, just because just because of how early he goes. Like if you don't get like Zay Flowers, like really you're banking on like Mark Andrews later in drafts, unless you're like trying to pick that. Yeah, I know you're a Rashad Bateman guy. I'm not.
I mean, what are we?
I'm mixing in the other 2 rookies. I mean, I know we've had that conversation a couple of times.
I think like the rookies are fine. I like as a Ravens fan, there's nothing that would make me happier than like Jacoby Lane being.
He's
awesome.
Getting
like,
I was gonna say
and he had a great catch today.
Yeah,
I just think Bateman will be on the field with probably one of the rookies and Zay, and so I've sprinkled in some Surratt. I don't have as much Lane, and I probably,
I was heavy on Lane early and in pre-draft. So
how do you feel about Brian Thomas or Price? I'm cool with either of those guys.
I'm good with either one. Do you have a favorite?
Let's take Brian Thomas.
Okay, I'm fine with that too because I mean we already got 2 stud running backs, and just for all the reasons we mentioned earlier with Sharps, if he does come back earlier, he's definitely going to take some snaps away. He's definitely going to get out, and he was the goal line back. So if you think that Jadarian Price is only really going to – I know they're giving him passing work right now. They're trying to get him up to speed on the passing game. But if he just becomes a passing back, then what are you winning with him going at 65 if Sharps does return by week 7 or 8, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I think that if he plays well, like, I mean, obviously everything with him is predicated on him being a good NFL running back. But if he is, I would assume they will be incentivized to ramp Sharps up pretty slowly. Like they just won the Super Bowl. They have Super Bowl ambitions. They don't gain anything by giving Sharps like an excessive amount of work.
And that's
earlier rather than later. So I think Price can still be perfectly fine. If anything, I think the Charbonnet coming back early is like a death knell to the conversations around Emmanuel Wilson and George Kalani. Yeah. If Charbonnet is to come back early, just because then it's like, I mean, I think Price is clearly going to play unless he's terrible because they just spent a first round pick on him. And what do you do long term? But it doesn't really matter. I think Price is fine, but as you said, and then the Jags receivers, I don't really know what to do with any of them. Like everyone, it seems like
I'm a Parker Washington bull, so I can't say much here.
I'm overweight on Washington and Thomas right now.
I'm probably more overweight on Strange than any of them just because he's super cheap. And I think he's going to have a much bigger year than he's had so far since he's been with the Jags. But then behind him, like I like Myers still. Myers is super cheap. And I mean, I do think he lacks the upside, but where he's going, it's like you're talking about guys like that, like Courtland Sutton and stuff of those, and Golden and guys in those ranges where the outlook is kind of similar and boom or bust, or just could have just a floor, not just huge upside. But anyway, we are back on the clock. I
kind of like Tony Pollard if you want to do Tony Pollard here.
I'm more than fine with that, or Ramondre. I don't know how are you playing are you playing the New England backfield? You doing any?
I'm higher on Ramondre because of cost. but I have mixed in Henderson at times. I don't like the price, but I do think like he showed last year that he has 30-point weekly upside if he gets the work, and so if he improves, he could be really good. But I end up with more Ramondre.
Yeah, and the more that he continues, I saw the quote today where it was like, yeah, Ramondre was getting praised by Vrabel because of the pass protection, and then it's like, yeah, Trevion's still working on that, and it's like, okay, this is not good. I mean, that's his one clear way of getting on the field, and he's I don't think he's getting any better at it, and so I still feel like he's going to be that guy that's going to get just a handful of touches a game, and Ramondre is going to continue to be the guy that they lean on, and we saw it last year. I don't think anything changes in that regard. We are coming back up here, Jim. Ramondre is still here, which is very interesting.
I am all in. If this guy goes quarterback, I am very okay with tapping our fourth running back here.
I was wondering if he had a jet. Well, look at his running back room too, so he might easily go one of these wide receivers as well.
Yeah, I have not. This would be the furthest I've seen Ramondre fall.
Yeah, I think we're going to take Ramondre.
That's absolutely.
And we can easily stop at 5 running backs with this one. That's another good, positive for that. And yeah, seeing as how he fell that far, I can't believe that. Ray Zanny, which I had Brian said can't go wrong with Brian. Yeah, appreciate that, Brian. But I think he was talking about Brian Thomas, Henderson, Scat, Tootin, Jenkins, Monty. No,
it's like even in as with talent as an explosive player.
Yeah.
I might even agree with that sentiment. And I think the other thing though is that it's only year 2 for him. He's a very young player. The Patriots are a competitive team. Just because he doesn't supplant Ramondre this year does not mean he's not going to be a great long-term Patriots player.
Yeah.
They're not playing fantasy football, so
they're playing real football where Ramondre's been
takes up a little bit this year and then takes up a little bit even more next year. Like that is probably a fine trajectory from the Patriots standpoint if they're still winning games. Yeah, whereas absolutely. If you're paying for him in the 5th round, you really need him to get more of a good percentage more of the work. And that's totally possible too. Like I'm not saying he can't. Like he could end up. We could look back and be like, "Damn, he was a smash in round 5," and that's why I'm not afraid. I don't take 0 of him, but I would rather bet on the guys with more secure roles in that range.
Right. Like I just feel like his price is just a little bit too steep. Like and to that point, it's like I don't hate the player. Like I know that he can bust off a long run on any carry, and he showed that. What he had over 1,000 yards rushing. I forgot how many touchdowns. I mean, he had a good rookie year for all things considered. But yeah, it's like you said. There's just some guys that go in that range where he's going there. It's hard to make that clear. I mean, it's just hard for me.
Right. I mean, his ceiling is obviously higher than someone like Judkins or whoever. I don't know. I don't really want the second Jags receiver. How do you feel about Matthew Golden?
I was gonna say we also have Jacobs, and we could pull, get Love. I don't mind it. I'm fine with Matthew.
Yeah,
I'm personally in on Matthew Golden because I do think that he takes a step this year.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not just overweight on him by any means, but I do think where he's going, he does have a lot of room for upside, and I just feel like if he can get on the same page with Jordan Love this year, because he's going to get the work. Unless he's just absolutely terrible, he's going to see the field a lot this year.
Right.
I feel like with Romeo gone, now they got rid of Wicks. They have literally, the runway's been cleared. It's Christian Watson, it's Jaden Reed, and it's Matthew Golden. And I think Golden is going to see more 2 wide receiver sets than Jaden Reed, as we have seen in the past, because Reed is more of the slot. So I think this has got to be the year. I mean, if he just busts this year, then it's like, okay. I mean, I probably will just write him off forever. But, I mean, it's open.
Yeah. They've consolidated, and it seemed like there were at least murmurs of a little bit of dissension in the wide receiver core there, where the guys clearly were frustrated with the amount of rotation that was going on. Obviously there were, nobody really knows what happened with Dobbs, but at one point, he was away from the team, and they're there was a
and
lot
of frustrated.
Weird, there was a lot of weird stuff that went on there. So I think they made the choice to. I think this is a good time to go QB for us.
I was gonna say, I mean, Jordan Love is here. We have Jacobs and we have Golden.
I think that's a fine.
We stop at two quarterbacks.
I don't know about you. I love the late tight ends, so I'm very comfortable.
I'm with you. Like unless I get like a Bowers or a Colson Loveland, I'm in on Tyler Warren, but I'm not just like I've got to have him every time he comes up to me.
Yeah,
I'm not going that way, but I'm with you there. Like I love this whole range here from like Isaiah Likely, even Kincaid some. Like this whole range here is fantastic. Likely, Ferguson. I don't have as much Goddard, but Chig I love. Strange, obviously I love. Dalton Schultz I think is an excellent pick.
Yeah.
Barner, Dulcich. I mean, for all the same reasons that you meant, like I'm sure you're probably on most of those guys too if you love late.
I like doing. I'm with like you. I mean, I'm overweight on Loveland, and I am overweight on Loveland, and I'm overweight on Bowers. Yeah. I've kind of forced myself to take some of the guys. Like, I mean, I have a really hard time clicking like Sam Laporta and Kyle Pitts and Harold Fannin, like the guys in that range, because they go in a spot where it's kind of last call for like legitimate starting quarterbacks and running backs with projectable volume. And so I end up not taking those guys because I'm like, oh, I need a running back here and I know I can get a tight end I like later. And then I'm like, wait, like if one of those guys smashes, like I probably want some of them. So I do try to make myself take them from time to time. But I would say the core of my tight end strategy is either A, taking Bowers or Loveland, or option B, we're taking a guy from like the Mark Andrews, Kincaid range down and taking 3. Love Gunnar Helm, mix in Ferguson, mix in, you mentioned Schultz, you mentioned, Pat Freiermuth is great.
We took Freiermuth yesterday on stream.
Yeah, he's, I know that Darnell Washington's getting some hype and they just gave him that new contract and he's going to play snaps for sure. But I also heard there was some buzz about how maybe the front office wasn't thrilled that Freiermuth was relegated to a backup role. They had
John Smith,
because they extended him and gave him all that money and then that all happened. And so I think he could have a big year this year. And he also has just always seemed to me like the exact type of target that Rodgers would prioritize throwing to. I really like Shaheed here. I'm also good with Andrews is the win.
I was gonna say, I think we've got to take Andrews here with the Baltimore mega here, the double there. So now we've got 2 doubles. We got the Green Bay and that's divisional too. No, Green Bay's NFC. I'm thinking. I don't know why I was thinking. I was thinking wrong there. But either way, we got 2 doubles now, Green Bay and Baltimore. So we'll make this pick and then I'll run down the lineup. But go ahead.
Yeah. Do you take a lot of Chris Rodriguez? I can't remember if that's the bet you're making.
I'm a Rodriguez guy for sure.
I take some.
But it's more of a cost thing than it's, I do think he is a decent back. I don't think he's an excellent, great back, but I think he's enough to cause some headache to the Tootin drafters because I do think that we know that his success rate, is very good. I do think he's going to steal a lot of early down work. I do still think that he's probably as long as everything goes right here.
I would take Diggs here like 100% of the time.
I'm completely fine. I've got a lot of Diggs, and I'm going to continue to take Diggs until he signs.
If he's a zero,
smash signing, yes.
If he's a zero, then I'm going to eat that one because he.
Yeah, I'm not going to harp too much on that because I'm the same way. Like he had too good of a year last year. Yeah, he's healthy. He was coming off an ACL last year too, and he still had that good of a year. I get it, albeit it was the Patriots. They had a great offense, so. I really want him to be a Commander like badly, and I'm holding out that's where he lands. But I mean, he's been linked to Baltimore for one. He's been linked to the Raiders, which would be a great spot. Like at this point, I'm almost thinking, there's not really too many spots. Indy, San Francisco now. Like there's way more good spots for him to land than there are bad, in my opinion. So I'm just going to keep hammering him until.
I even think the Ravens would be a pretty bad landing spot for him, just because I think that.
That would hurt Zay.
It would be bad for me. I wouldn't mind it as a Ravens fan because I would like them to have another option in case someone were to get banged up or whatever. But I do I don't think that would be like as good for him as say if he went to the Commanders or if
I mean the Ravens are like the lower end of those teams.
The Rams would be pretty low too if he's like just the 3 behind. But even then,
Rams.
If he's on the Rams or if he's on the Ravens, I'm perfectly fine with my bags at like 130 something. Like, okay, that's not a bad. He's not going to fall much from there if he goes in that range.
That's what I was going to say too. Like, I don't think he's going to fall at all anywhere he goes. Like, he's only going to go up depending on where he lands. So,
yeah,
that's kind of the way I'm playing it too. But yeah, Stribling. Were you a Stribling guy? I mean, obviously he's into round 12 now.
I've got like 10%. So
okay,
I'm happy to.
Obviously been hammering him a lot more lately.
Yeah,
I was before even the Christian Kirk news before, and then now the Ricky Pearsall stuff, and it's like, okay, well, but like we said, San Francisco is going to have to add somebody. So whoever comes in there could still totally disrupt that whole thing with the Stribling thing right now. But quick look at the team here. So we started out of the 9 hole, I believe. We're in the 9.
Yeah.
We got Lamar Jackson, Jordan Love at quarterback, 4 running backs, James Cook, Jacobs, Pollard, Ramondre. That Ramondre fall is still going to get me 12 spots. That's wild. Pollard was a fall.
Awesome pick.
We've gotten some really nice falls here. CeeDee Lamb, Zay Flowers, Brian Thomas, Matthew Golden, Stephon Diggs, and then we got Andrews for the double there. We are coming back up here on the clock. So 2, 4, 5, 1. Pretty much done at quarterback. We've tacked on one good tight end. I know there's not many tight ends in this range I'm usually taking, so I'm probably looking more at wide receiver here. I don't know about you.
I don't mind. Well, yeah, from this one, I mean, I would take probably a wide receiver here. Who do we have up
How do you feel about Jennings?
I don't usually take Jennings. Tucker? I prefer Tucker or Boston to Jennings. I just between Hawkinson and Addison and Justin Jefferson, obviously, I worry about Kyler's support of a third, and mainly because
I think it hurts Hawkinson more than anything because
it certainly does. I'm not big on Hawkinson either.
Yeah, I'm not either. I'm not taking hardly any Hawkinson.
I prefer the top, like the Vikings that I tend to bet on are just Jefferson and Addison. And then the running backs. But
are you taking any Damon Claiborne?
I am not. I have a couple of shares, but
it's not steadily.
They would need. I mean, I'm probably like 2 to 3%. Or it's probably closer to 2. But yeah, if I got buzz that he was really impressing, I'll add some more in. But I'm more so a fan of Mason. And then I have some Aaron Jones.
Be the lead. I think Aaron Jones is dust at this point. Like I know he's a faithful of Minnesota. They love him there, but it's kind of like the James Cook situation. I feel like James Cook is obviously coming off a major injury, so that's one thing. But I just don't think Aaron Jones. He started to become more of just a passing down back last year. We are on the clock here. You like any of these running backs, or
I don't really. I would probably just lean.
I mean, Kamara's sitting there.
I'm fine with one of the tight ends since we're going to need 3 anyway. Do you
like?
I'm fine with Sadiq or Hunter. I think they're both great.
We're going to get 3, so I don't.
Yeah, we're going to get 3. I would grab 1 now so that we just have we don't need to grab 2 at the next turn. Because are we at 6?
I'm not buying Phil Maffa. It is Jadon Blue.
I'm with you there, Sean. I'm a Jaden Blue drafter. I've struggled with the Javonte price, and I know that there's a decent number of worlds where Javonte is just the clear RB1 again, and the Cowboys are a good offense.
He stays healthy all year.
And he stays healthy, and he scores touchdowns, and that's just how it goes. But he was incredibly inefficient in the passing game. He's not explosive, and
he's basically 0 in the passing game.
The immediate
be literal.
And he's going to be out there because he's a good pass blocker. Like he does a lot of things that coaches like.
Exactly.
But Jaden Blue, today, or I think it was today, they were talking about how he he ripped off a 50-yard run and he's looking explosive. And the coaches have said that they really they're happy with his dedication to. I mean, for lack of a better phrase, it sounds like he was kind of a knucklehead last year.
And there were the coaches' reports that were saying he was, didn't act like he wanted to be there, blah, 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 So, and there's probably some truth to that. So, yeah.
No, I think they are true. But it seems like they had kind of because what's his name? Who's the Schottenheimer, the coach? He gave a really candid answer about him like at the end of the year that was basically like, yeah, we had like an exit interview where I was like, this is what you need to do if you want to be like a successful NFL running back and like a crucial part of this team. And it sounds like Blue's response to that has, instead of being like, okay, like, what do you know, has been like, I'm going to embrace that challenge because like, I know this is my shot to be a productive NFL player. And so, it, you know, because like all these guys, none of them are bad, or some of them are bad guys, but I mean, like a lot of them where they have these issues, it's like, it's not that he's a bad guy, he's just a kid.
They're young guys, exactly. Young guys that don't know much better. You know, they were the star at their college. Now they're getting into the big leagues, you know. So, yeah, they got to take the ego back a little bit. But, yeah, I totally agree. Like, I think that he did kind of give them that ultimatum, like, hey.
Yeah.
And now, you know, the reports of, you know, Malik Davis looks like he's going to be a roster cut. Like, it's wheels up for Blue. And, you know, he did, have 18 carries for 60 and a touchdown in week 18? I mean, looked good then, you know. So, I think they're trying to build around him, too, as running back, too. And, yeah, I've been clicking a lot more lately. I had a lot in the preseason or pre-drafts, too. But, yeah, I've been adding more lately, too.
You want to go Gunnar Helm? I want to go Gunnar Helm.
Okay.
I like Gunnar Helm.
I like Gunnar Helm. He's a great third tight end, too.
Yeah, I think that makes that room. I think there's, like, enough
can be done at tight end,
yeah. Enough pop with, you know, Sadiq and Helm to maybe give us some more explosive upside. And then Andrews, the two rookies that Baltimore drafted are, from the looks of things, I mean, unless one of them really surprises, are going to be works in progress. And so at least for 2026, they're really going to be relying on Andrews to be the pass catching tight end. And they're going to have Durham Smythe running around and doing the things that Durham Smythe does, which is like blocking and knowing knowing what Declan Doyle wants. But it's not it's going to be a lot of Andrews. I don't get as much of him just because, again, he goes around some other guys that I like. I'm still overweight by like a little bit, but it's I think based on how I feel about him, I should be more overweight, and yet I'm not.
I was so overweight on him last year, and he was just kind of mad the whole year. And even though they extended him and let Likely go, I still can't find the click like you. It's a lot harder for me to find George Ryan at 182.
Yeah, I don't really understand that, but okay. Can we take Jaden Blue?
We can.
He's definitely there. Let's see. Like, we're sitting here talking about him. Like, I have a lot of Dylan Sampson, so I'll start there.
I do too.
And he's at the top of the board here. But if Dylan Sampson is the pass catching back on the Browns, and Jaden Blue actually earns the pass catching role on the Cowboys, then we would obviously prefer Jaden Blue. Obviously, now Dylan Sampson a little safer. There's not as much of I think he's pretty much the solidified RB2 in Cleveland, where Blue there was a little ambiguity.
Right,
and like
now
you,
it's kind of
I'm a couple like as soon as there were positive reports out of the OTAs with Blue, I started because I didn't have, unlike you, I kind of was worried about what the Cowboys might do at running back, but like in the draft or whatever. So I didn't really take any pre-draft. As soon as we started getting bullish reports on him, I flipped the switch, and luckily he hasn't climbed.
No, he really hasn't. I mean, he's starting to, because he was going in the late, like 210s, 215 range there, and undrafted for a long, like for half the offseason there after we didn't, like you said, like nobody knew how that room was going to shake out. But yeah, I had a ton pre-draft. He was probably top 2 or 3 exposures for my pre-NFL draft contest.
I do think this team is awesome.
I feel like this is a really good team so far.
I draft a lot of teams where I'm like, damn, that one kind of sucks. I wish I could have my $25 back and try that again. And then I draft a lot of teams where I really where I'm like kind of mad on them. I think we got some great fallers so far, and we've hit ranges of the drafts in the way that I tend to like to hit them. It's
I think we've gotten good picks pretty much in every pocket, and I feel like we've gotten, like you said, like there's been some fallers that we've got that make you shake your head and be like, why did they let that happen? Ray Zanny, though, they're going with his notorious 4-quarterback build.
Oh, is that something he does? I'm not.
Well, he won the Fast Puppy 2 years ago with the 4-quarterback build.
Cool.
Yeah.
I have won. Not the same, but I won the contest. I won. I did win with a 4 tight end.
You won the Pit Bull, right?
I won the Pit Bull back. It was different then. It wasn't. It was the 70. The Pit Bull used to be $75. They did it, so it was a much smaller final than like the current $20 version. Yeah, so it was closer to like a like a slightly smaller Chow Chow final.
Gotcha. Yeah.
But yeah, you didn't need the nuts to win that, obviously.
Just had to get there and then
get there and have a couple of guys smash. But
exactly.
But I did win that one.
Which worked in your favor. Yeah.
So I support people getting weird. I think it's
absolutely.
We were tough with the QBs.
Are you thinking wide receiver here?
Probably, yeah.
We're probably good at running back. Who do you like?
I mean, I just want to take Rashad Bateman. Like, who am I kidding? like that's what I want to do.
I don't have a lot of Bateman.
Let's triple stack Lamar and take it to town. And then
I know we've got a mega. Let's just keep it going. I mean, if we're betting on this offense to be as good as we continue to talk about, then Bateman could be the piece you need.
Declan Doyle, man. I after listening to John Harbaugh press conferences for the past number, and I'm appreciative of the winning that the Ravens did during the John Harbaugh era. We did get a Super Bowl while he was here. I appreciate that. There were a lot of good years. It's like a breath of fresh air listening to Minter and Doyle talk about football. So I'm a pretty big believer. Where are you on Keenan Allen as we get into here? Have you been clicking him?
I haven't at all, but I'm totally fine.
I've been kind of mixing him in the past week or so.
I'm totally fine.
It seems like he's getting buzzed that he's going to sign somewhere. I know he was mentioned.
These bets at him, Debo, they're all going to sign soon. I mean, camp's starting. They've got like 2 weeks to sign, so they're probably just not wanting to get right into camp. But yeah, I still do think Keenan can give you a couple. Depending on where he lands. I've heard him maybe in Indy. I've heard him, for most of the stuff we've heard from Diggs.
It's the Indy one. I feel like he's come up in the Indy conversations more so than somebody like Diggs keeps getting, and a lot of it maybe is wish casting. But I did see that the what's his name? Is Peters the GM for the Commanders? I can't remember what the GM of the Commanders name is. Is it Adam Peters? Is that? Am I imagining that?
It's not Chris Peters.
It's okay, yeah, it is. Adam Peters is the GM for the Commanders. He did give some kind of statement of like, we like our wide receiver room, but like we are willing to look at veteran options, which usually that means they're at least kicking the tires on somebody. And so I would hope that.
Which I thought they were going to add too. Yeah, everybody knows that they're one of those teams like the Commanders. We've known they're going to add somebody. It just depends on who. And that's
I've gotten more. Well, and the San Francisco injuries have made me more bullish on these free agents because now there's potentially another premium landing spot next to DC. That is like if two of the guys land in San Francisco and Washington, then like whichever of Debo, Keenan, and Stefan end up in those spots, like they're gonna soar up in ADP and be very happy. So I've been clicking all three of those guys more recently. I've been taking Diggs the whole time, but I've been the improved outlook for Keenan, and Keenan is someone I wasn't taking early in the offseason, but it was probably actually I was on Best Ball Jeopardy like a week ago, and they did a Keenan Allen question, and then I was talking to people about that afterwards, and they were like, "Oh, I'm taking Keenan Allen like the 18th round." And I was like, shit, maybe that's like something I should consider. So I've been trying to get more of those. Want to start getting your leaguettes. Ray is.
I'm not
playing. No, thank you.
I was about to say he already lost his job to Chris Brazel, and of course Brazel goes down, and now X is getting. Yeah. I'm sorry, but anybody that loses their job to a rookie like that right out of the gate, I've never been a Leggett guy. I didn't like him last year. I didn't like him as a rookie, and I don't like him this year still. I still, again, that Carolina passing offense is not. It's not going to probably substitute or have enough ceiling to do two guys. I just don't think so.
Well, I think Ted's the only guy you really want to. Because Coker's good. I really like Coker.
I've always been a Coker guy. I was heavy last year.
I mean, it was really frustrating last year that I really liked the pick and then he got banged up, but then when he came back, he ended up being really nice.
He crushed there towards the end of the year. I mean, what did he put up against the Rams? I mean, he had 140 yards and a touchdown or something. I mean, just absolutely smashed him, I think. And he's looking great already again in camp. I mean, I'm a Coker guy.
He got a ton of targets last year too. So it's like, if they when he what was it like? I mean, he had, or at least down the stretch, he was seven targets, 5 targets, 6 targets. Like I think he's clearly going to be wide receiver 2 there. So I don't really have any interest in the wide receiver 3 in
not the
Carolina,
X. Not the X, really. not the X.
I was interested, and it's burned me. I was interested in Brazel because he seemed like such an interesting deep threat.
He was an X at Tennessee too.
Right, and I thought that in the 18th, he was one of my flavor of the week 18th rounders in June that I'm now getting burned on. But I hadn't been taking him recently, and so I'm bummed to see him go down. I think he could have ended up having, if he gives you 2 or 3 weeks, that's great. I'm not digging into the dregs of what Carolina has left after that.
No, Jimmy Horn and Xavier Legette, and I'm done basically at Coker or Tet or bust for me. It's that the running backs. I'm not taking much of anything else for them, and I'm not really nearly as heavy on Bryce as I was last year. I was taking Bryce a lot last year, and I'm rarely taking him much this year. But Jim, let's go ahead and run this team down one more time. Like as usual, I always like to get a grade 1 to 10 from all my guests on how we drafted. I know it's already going to get a high grade because I think we both love this team. So we had a 2-5-8-3, pretty standard build, standard construct if you want to call it. 2 quarterbacks here: Lamar Jackson, Jordan Love, James Cook, Jacobs, Pollard, Ramondre, and Jaden Blue. And then wide receivers were CD, Zay Flowers, Brian Thomas, Matthew Golden, Stephon Diggs, Trey Tucker, Rashad Bateman, and Keenan Allen. And then we closed out the tight end room with Andrews, Sadiq, and Gunnar Helm. Yeah, I really like the team.
I think this team is awesome. I like to get Pollard as a faller at 81, I think is really good. And then to get Ramondre
right after
88 is even better. Like I've never seen Ramondre fall that far. I
haven't either.
Pollard usually goes towards the front of the end of the board.
Pollard, I could definitely see it. Yeah.
Every now and again he falls to 80.
Ramondre never falls that.
It's like a nice treat. Ramondre to 88 to that far, I don't understand. Like at that point, he could even be behind Travion and still be a solid pick at 88.
Exactly.
Like, he's going next to Blake Corum there, and I like Blake Corum.
Who's a backup. He's still a backup, even if he's getting 50%.
Right. I like Blake Corum. I like Rico Dowdle. Like, I like the guys in that range.
Yeah.
And if Ramondre was priced next to those guys, I would have like 30% Ramondre. So
yeah,
maybe it's for the best for me that he's not, but I really like that price.
I have a lot of Ramondre, so
I do too. I'm at like, I don't know, probably like 15%, 16%.
Yeah, I'm over 10 for sure.
I'm big. Because as you said, I've been trying to do more aggressive wide receiver builds. And so the Ramondre, Jalen Warren, Rico Dowdle, Tony Pollard pocket of running backs ends up being an area that I'm
heavily hitting,
single tapping or double tapping to catch up. And I think that's fine.
Yeah.
But I really like how this team turned out. Out of 10, I'd give it a 9 for sure.
I'm definitely giving it like a solid 8-7.
I
really like it. I think this team could go far.
I think it's got projectable points, and then I also think we have a lot of room for upside. I think the Matthew Golden, Brian Thomas, maybe BTJ isn't the clear one in Jacksonville, but he still has, big games when he does make the big play.
Games. Yeah, gets 120 yards and a touchdown.
They've been pretty bullish on him. The only thing that did worry me with him is Liam Cohen made some kind of comment about how, we're obviously going to spread the ball around. Because I guess I don't even know what the question was, but it was probably something to the effect of, is BTJ going to get back to where he was as a rookie, which is 1,400 yards in a massive season? And I think he probably was like, well, realistically, no. He's not going to get back to 1,400 yards this year. But when you're drafting him in round 6, you're not drafting him to get 1,400 yards. You're drafting him to get close to 1,000, as long as
it's not to 1,000, and it's probably a win. Yeah,
right. It is a win. So I think that's where I'm kind of at with
6,
him
7,
and Parker Washington.
But
I love the Jags. I love their Week 17 against the Commanders. And then, as you said, Golden's a high upside guy. Diggs is probably a riser. I like the Ravens pieces. CeeDee Lamb is fun. Again, another great Week 17 matchup against the Giants.
Yep.
It's a cool team. I really like this one, Sean.
Yeah, I do too, man. I do too. I think it's, like I said, I know it's a standard construct, but I think the fallers is what's going to make it different for one.
The room allowed us to differentiate without trying hard.
And we didn't really have to try. That's what I really liked about it, is we weren't just scratching our heads saying, man, who did we pick here?
I forgot the James Cook fall, which is
we got Cook at 16.
16 is insane for him. I don't get I know you were saying you've been getting a lot of mid and back end drafts. I have been picking between the 1 and 3 so frequently. Yeah. And I'm not complaining about that, but it just by result, I do not. And I like Ashton Genty. So like, I'm not pulling Cook up all that often. And so I am light on him, but it is not by choice. And if he started falling, I would absolutely just take a ton of James Cook.
I mean, I pulled recently with all the news that we've been getting, you know, with them wanting to give him more receiving work, which I feel like is going to put him at that level that he needs to be with CMC to get closer to CMC and ultimately maybe pass him and get more in the Bijan and Gibbs range of talk there. Like, won the rushing title. Now, you know, if he starts to get more targets, he gets 50 to 60, 70 targets in a season. And we're talking running back 1 easily for the contention here. So I moved him above JT in my last rankings I did. I think I have him at like 8 or 7. So I'm
you're loving that fall to 15 or 16 then. Yeah, I don't think that's crazy. Like, I don't get a lot of JT either, so it's tough for me to say.
No.
I don't have rankings, so it's all on, you know, however I take my first rounder that I'm feeling in that draft, and I take a second rounder, but I don't get compelled to take JT too often.
And I don't always draft off my ranks either.
Right. You can't, but unless you want like really, really.
I will say, like, the start of contest, like I did it for the Fast Puppy, like my first 10 or 15, I just went straight off my ranks and just click my rank, whatever it was. But yeah, I mean, I'll just do like small, you know, samples of that just to see, you know, kind of how it falls. Yeah. And look back and just be like, okay, well, that was my ranks at that time, and see if it just totally sucks or
absolutely
I was even kind of anywhere in the ballpark. But
football, awesome stuff. I think we should score a ton of running back points. And if Lamar, I mean, if the team goes as Lamar goes, obviously, because we have the two receivers and the tight end, and we spent a 5th round pick on him. But if Lamar is a win and this team stays healthy, I feel really good about it.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I mean, we have the backup of Green Bay there too. It's not like we're just totally dead if Lamar is not great. Like, Jordan Love could have a really good season. I don't love his playoff schedule. I will say that that's one kind of been my bigger drawbacks of Green Bay. They've got a they got a bad run out in the playoff weeks. But, you know, we don't know if those defenses are going to be as good as they were last year. We don't know if they're going to be all healthy come week 15, 16, and 17. So, you know, just playing just off of the matchups is something that is kind of arbitrary. And you're like, okay, well, anything could change, right?
I think we should be mindful of it, but you can't.
Sure,
you can't
like not just totally,
Like, I mean, we've been talking Jags. Like, I think if I were on paper to pick my favorite Week 17 matchup, I think the Commanders Jags looks like an absolute smash.
And like you mentioned with Dallas and
Dallas and New York also feels like an absolute smash. And so, like, I want to be cognizant of that and thinking about those teams. But Green Bay is a perfect example of a team where I don't love their playoff matchups, but
Philly too.
I'm not willing to full fade the Packers because of that.
No. They're priced too cheap. That's what I was gonna say, compared to like Philadelphia, where all of their more expensive pieces are way up in the front of the board. Like, at least Green Bay, you can get 3 or 4 guys after Love around the Love area, and you know, still be more than fine. So it's more of the cost thing too there. But yeah, I totally agree. You definitely want to be cognizant of some of those matchups and definitely hammering some of those better ones. But like you said, not full fading any teams just because of it. All right, Jim, man, been great. Loved having you back on. Before we wrap this thing, tell them, you know, I know you said do you guys do it at a set day and time every week? You and Neil, plug that.
I've just been doing I've been doing solo streams on Neil Orfield's channel. I usually post on Twitter. I know I think Sean threw my Twitter in there, but I usually throw up when I go live or when I'm going to go live, but it's going to be Wednesdays or Thursdays. I go live in the evenings generally, so it's usually closer to 9 or 9:30 p.m.
Gotcha.
I don't have a set time. I accidentally went live during like basically every other best ball content creator last night. So it was a little, you know, the group watching was a little smaller than usual just because like I logged in and Neil was like, so, you know, you're competing against literally everyone right now.
Yeah, I know,
but
that's tough to do.
So I'm trying to like be mindful of that when I do pick the time. But yeah, generally Wednesdays or Thursday evenings. Neil Orfield's channel. If you aren't a member of the Flannelverse Discord, which is Neil's Discord, definitely check that out. We're in there talking shop, and it's pretty just like exclusively just best ball, ADP, degenerate stuff. So if anybody wants to jump in there, I'm pretty active. And if anybody wants to come on and chat through drafts, my streams are basically just me firing up BBMs or chow chows or whatever, and I try to answer questions and just talk through why I'm doing what I'm doing. So trying to make it educational and entertaining, nothing too crazy, but I would definitely love some folks checking it out.
Yeah. Go follow. Like again, I've got his Twitter handle down there, X handle, whatever you want to call it. I've got it down there in the comments. So go follow Jim and check out his streams, man. Y'all jump in there and chat with him. Flying J, Stribling went round 12 in this one, so he's definitely flying up the board. As we knew this was going to happen. I wouldn't be shocked if he's in round 10 by next week, but I think that's probably more than feasible. He's probably going to continue to rise. But
I think I'm going to wait on that one.
I'm not going to be taking near as much if he continue. Which at round 12, he's kind of already like, you're kind of getting close to that.
I mean, if they sign somebody, I'm going to wait on that one. But
they're going to sign somebody.
I'm certainly happy to have the shares of Stribling that I do have. I am very grateful that I took them.
Yep. Great stuff, Jim and Sean. Appreciate you, Brian. Appreciate you tuning in, watching it. Ray Zanny, appreciate you, bud. I know I didn't go over your team, but I'm sure it's a great one. Willie knows ball is probably going to beat us all, but hey, that's what the game we're playing. But
we're just seeking out a diss track, man.
All right, that's going to wrap it up.
Sean.
Episode 38. Thank you all. You guys have a great evening. We'll catch you on the next one, which is tomorrow, Friday. Tomorrow I am doing a live stream with Justin McMahon of Real Good Picks. So you guys be on the lookout. I think that's going to be at probably 4:30 or 5 Central. So we'll be doing another live stream tomorrow afternoon. See you guys then. Thank you for tuning in and chatting and drafting, and have a good evening.